These are the quiz corrections for Geometry A, quiz number 18. Chapter 3, Section 1 to Chapter 3, Section 4. March 6, 2015, 48 points. Number 1 is our can fill in the blank square so that each row and each column contain all the digits 1 to 3. So you can only use the numbers 1, 2, and 3. Numbers in cages may repeat as long as they are not the same row or column. For example, this is cage. You'll notice the darkened ones. The scoring was either 4 you got it or 1 point you tried it. So my two numbers that subtract to be 1, I tried to be 2. Well, that only leaves me with one number left as 1. That's a 1. The two numbers that multiply to be 2, that has to be 2 and 1. The number that's left here is 3. I want to be here and decide, well, the two numbers that I need to subtract to be 1, that's 1 and 2. Remember, you might have to interchange those and erase it. And recognize the number I'm missing here. Let's just say it's 1 there. This would be 3. That would be 1. So 3 times 1 times 3 equals 9. Question number 2 has been on the quiz for a couple weeks, multiple choice, and the diagram below the bisects. So the keyword bisects means cuts in half. So let me go ahead and again make those same marks. Bisect means ABC. These are now congruent angles. They're the same. But if you know that the big angle ABC is 23 degrees, then each of those has to be 11.5. 11.5 plus 11.5 would give me 23 degrees. So technically these questions here are reason bag. I call it a reason bag because it's a vocabulary word, a picture, and you need to write the equation. So this is vertical angle. This is exactly the same as the previous quiz. Your equation is blank equals blank. And when you have blank, go ahead and write congruent, or angle 1 equals or congruent to angle 2. Consecutive or same side interior angles. You could just use the same diagram. There it is, 3 and 4. They're both on the inside of my parallel lines here. They're on one side of my transversal. That means they are consecutive. 3 plus 4 equals 180. Question number 5. I just ask you to draw a picture where 3 is equal to 4. Try not to pick some of you try to do vertical angles again. You've already shown that to me, so try something else. Here, of course, my angles. Or you could have done also alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles. Here, this is called a linear pair. Your equation is 4 plus 5 equals 180. The linear pairs are supplementary. Number 7, BT is perpendicular to HD. So BT is perpendicular to HD. Let's just say that's a line. Well, perpendicular, the big idea is it forms right angles, and all these angles are 90 degrees. So 2 here, you could have said angles are 90 degrees, or you could say this is a definition of perpendicular lines. Each blank is worth 2 points. Backside. Question number 8, show you guys in class on the board to take the box and put it here. So essentially you can do a couple things. If you know this is a box, that means all of these boxes are 90 degrees, therefore these lines are perpendicular. Or the second thing it recognizes, well, if this is 90 degrees, that means here this is vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent. So if I add these two together, that'll equal 90 degrees, or you can also recognize it as complementary. Combine the terms, subtract 18. Divided by 2, x is equal to 36. That's all I had to do is find the value of x. Question number 9, it's been on your quiz a couple of times as well. Just find the missing variables. So 83 and x are linear pair postulate, that the LPP stands for. They're supplementary. Just subtract 83, x is equal to 97. I know these lines are parallel. So 83 and y minus 13, they're on the exterior, they're not on the inside. They're alternating, meaning on one side of the transversal. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. 83 equals y minus 13. Add 13 equals 96. 2 points for each correct answer, probably with out of 4. Like 3 response questions are out of 4. Question number 10. In the diagram below, lines N and M are cut by transversal P and Q. So the first thing we should observe is that none of them are parallel. P and Q are just transversals that intersect, but M and N are not. What value of x would make lines N and M parallel? Well, I need an x value. I notice that the angle that I wrote here and this angle are the same on the transversal, therefore they're corresponding angles. So if I can prove that x is equal to 30, and I can, well, 30 plus 70 plus 80 equals 180 because I have a straight line there, a straight angle. Well, that's 110, therefore this has to be 70. So 70, this would have to be 70, corresponding angles converse. Question number 11. The diagram below, lines L is parallel to line M, and line W is a transversal. Okay, so it tells me if measure of angle 2 is 3x 17, the measure of angle 3 is 5x minus 21, was the measure of angle 1. So again, they're not, they are parallel. It tells me that, so you can draw a little arrowhead if you need to. So I need to figure out 1. Well, you can do the problem in a couple of ways. I decided to say 2 plus 3 equals 180, linear pair postulate. Substituting for my angles 2 and 3, combine my terms. Add 4 divided by 8, x equals 23. Well, I took x equals 23 and I substituted back into angle 2. And you'll get angle 2 to be 86. Well, angle 2 is 86, therefore angle 1 is also 86 because corresponding angles are congruent. 86. Another way of just saying the problem is, if you did something like alternate consecutive exterior angles are supplementary or something like that, like say try to do 1 plus 3 equals 180, you'll have an unknown because you don't have angle 1, you don't want to solve it in terms of x and a constant. Question number 12. If the measure of angle T, EQ, notice I'm marking up my picture and putting it on there, and the measure of angle VWS, for which value of x is PQ parallel to RS? So we have to find a value for x and make them parallel and then explain. Well, to solve them, I notice that these are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles converse. So if I can prove that the angles are congruent, and do that by setting them equal to each other, solving. Remember, doing opposites across the equal sign or inverses. Subtraction opposite is 22. I think x equals 16. So for the value of x that makes them parallel, x equals 16 would make them parallel. Because you substitute it in there, and that would make angle measures the same. Well, then here's another part is explain, which means that was a sentence frame we practiced during the week. For lines P, Q to be parallel to RS, 5x minus 22 must equal 3x plus 10. This is because of corresponding angles converse. X will become 16 to use the corresponding angles converse. Question number 13. Which statement can always be used to prove AB is parallel to CD? So let me go through all of these and make sure we understand. 2 and 4 is not a way of putting two lines parallel. So I crossed off that one. Number 2 has 7 and 8. That's linear pair. Linear pair are not used to prove them. Let's get 1 and 5. 1 and 5. 1 and 5 would be corresponding angles. Corresponding angles would have to be congruent to be used corresponding angles converse, but that's not the case. It looks like they're equal. Therefore, look at 3 and 6. Consecutive interior angles converse. If these are supplementary, then I can prove the lines are parallel. Question number 14. Which A line transversal intersects two lines? So essentially, it's the same picture or something like that. Visual. Which condition will always make the two lines parallel? So go through the same ideas from before. Vertical angles, no, can't prove them. Corresponding angles are supplementary, no. Corresponding angles must be congruent. Same side interior angles are complementary, no, they're supplementary. So number 2, alternate interior angles are congruent. And the last question, number 15. Based on the diagram below, which statement is true? So we have this crazy diagram. You can always use, in these you're trying to prove that some of the lines are parallel. And the only thing you can really use in here is linear pair. Or vertical angles. So if I did say 110, this would have to be 70. This would be 120, 60, vertical angles, linear pair. 115. This would be 65. And this will be 60. So notice how all of these numbers here, I have kind of like 4 sets of numbers, only these two. So notice how I have 60 and 120. The proposed parallel line to the transversal. Proposed parallel line to the transversal, there's my transversal. Therefore, these two lines are parallel. D and E are parallel. Remember, multiple choice question number 2 for your response are worth 4. I hope this was helpful for you so you would avoid the mistakes in the next quiz.